is a neighborhood shop, so most people aren't coming from long distances to get coffee and pastries. So they would come and want to spend all of the money at once because they wanted a deal, not because they were going to make this a regular spot for themselves.
Now, of the people that came in with a Groupon, do you have any sense of how many came back and paid full price here?
That's really hard for me to track too. That I would, because we don't even have any sort of like point of sale system that could track anything where we could be like asterisk Groupon customer, do they come back? Which I even wonder how Groupon does it, because how do you verify that these people are coming back? You can't track people's credit card numbers, and you can't, you know what I mean? So I'm not really sure how the best way to do that, or the most efficient way to do that. I would guess maybe 10 or 20%. I have no idea.
Now, when people came in with their Groupons, did you do anything to get them onto your Twitter and Facebook, or get their email addresses?
No, and that was the one thing that when people responded to my blog, I was like, I should have done that. I think I just didn't know. With what Groupon talks to you about, I thought that we would be covering bases in a different way, and so that didn't even cross my mind, that it was like, don't worry, something like 97% of businesses are satisfied with doing Groupon. 98% of customers spend above the value of the Groupon, and 40% come back. Like that. And so I think it didn't even register to me. This was just to get our name out there, not necessarily in my mind like, oh, and I should think of a way to track it down. And I think it's because for our business in particular, we were kind of like the darling of this neighborhood, that it's like, I'd been blogging about maybe opening a coffee shop for like a year, so it wasn't hard for me to get people to like us.
Right.
And to think that I would have to put so much effort into luring people in on top of giving them this discount, I think didn't register for me. That I was like, we already have lots of people that love us, and so, you know, they would know that they loved us if they came in, but realize that the experience is very different when you're coming with a coupon.
Now, how long had you been on Twitter at that point?
I don't know. I mean, most of my social networking is through Facebook. I just link it to Twitter.
Okay.
So, I've been on Facebook since before we had opened, because I had a following before we opened the shop. So probably early 2009. And then I think I did Twitter probably soon after we opened. Twitter is really hard for me to understand. So.
Now, have you also looked at Foursquare and Yelp? Have you seen your reviews on Yelp?
Yeah. So, and actually, if you look at, well, I don't know how many they keep, but right after doing a Groupon, and I've found this consistent. For us, it was, I mean, things were bad. Like, things did not look good for Posies on Yelp after doing a Groupon. That you have this huge influx of people that all want to be treated like royalty under really tense conditions, and consistently other businesses have written to me and they were like, how did you deal with bad reviews? Because that's what happened. This one woman wrote and she was like,
so you had Groupon customers leaving you bad reviews on Yelp?
All of them were like, I mean, not all of the Groupon customers, but like almost every review was from a Groupon customer. And so it was like, so it's easy to remember to write a bad review. It's not easy to remember to write a good review because you expect to have a good experience. So I just wrote to our fan base and I was like, this is killing me. I need you guys, if you've ever had a good experience here, I need you to drown out these bad reviews. And that's how we sort of corrected that, because it was getting skewed. The data was getting really skewed. It was like, how do you correct this? Remind people if they've ever had a good experience. And another woman had written to me and she was like, I've been in business for 15 years and I've never had less than 5 stars. And she's like, I did a Groupon and I have 2 stars right now.
She did a Groupon and she had how many stars?
2 stars.
Wow.
And she was like, and I was almost put out of business. So what do I do?
Now, did anybody threaten you with bad reviews when they came in with their Groupons?
I don't usually work at the front that much, but I did have a lot of, the reason I wrote the blog post was because one of our customers was upset. It was mostly not letting them use it after the expiration date. everyone wanted to use it after the expiration date. And people have even written about me online. You'll see it on Twitter that, oh, I see, so you let coupons expire, which there's certain laws that it's, you know, you can't let coupons expire, they're good forever, but I guess there's a law if it's in 10 point, if the expiration is in 10-point font or higher, then they do expire.
Now, did Groupon tell you about the laws regarding expiration and copy?
Of course not. The people that sell Groupons barely know what they're talking about. Groupon actually called me last week and asked me if I wanted to run a Groupon, and I was like...
Oh, so after your blog post, they called you and...
Right, so all this time later, and I was like, well, we're probably not going to do it. And they were like, did you have a bad experience? And I was like...
Let me send you a link.
I was like, you might just want to Google Posie. And the guy wrote to me like 2 hours later, and he was like, a simple Google search showed that I'm an idiot. I'm really sorry. He's like, thanks for being so nice. But, what was I telling you about? What was I just telling you before that?
Trying to remember.
Doing Groupon, they called me again. Oh, about the expiration dates. So no, there's not a lot of information about that. And people were like writing about me. Oh, I see. So you're a crook. Like you steal from people that pay for their coupons and then you just take their money. It's like, no, here's the law actually, but like the Oregon law. But I also feel like the onus of responsibility should not be entirely on this little business that isn't going to know these laws in the first place. That whenever anyone called me, I was like, take it up with Groupon. That you can get your money back from Groupon because I've given away the whole store. And you know, I think that that's maybe part of the problem too, is like not only is there no infrastructure, there's no risk on anybody's part except the business. So in the product that you give away, the follow-up with customers who are upset, it's all on us, even though we only get a very small fragment of any of this. So anyway, it just doesn't, but what I was saying, anyone threatening us, the customer that was upset about, she had been a long time customer, and she said, she asked if she could use her Groupon after it expired, and I was like, I'm sorry, no. And I knew she was a long time customer, and she got out of line and got back in line to yell at me and tell me that she had been a long time customer, and this makes her never want to come back again, and that she was really disappointed in me. So I explained to her, this is before I wrote anything, I explained to her what had happened, that we had lost like $10,000 and this was the worst decision I'd ever made, how it all transpired, people were practically stealing from us by using multiple coupons, and she was just like, her jaw dropped. She's like, I had no idea that that's how this worked, I had no idea that Groupon took so much of the money, I had no idea you lost so much money, and I was like, yeah, my husband's been kind of pressing me to write a blog post about it. And she was like, you should. So that's why I wrote the blog post, was because this one customer that was kind of threatening to never come back was like, write a blog post about it.